What's up, everybody? It's the HorrorDeconstruction. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, but most likely on YouTube, where you can like us. Please like us. Let people know about us. We're very in need of attention, please. And also on Facebook.
I need attention.
Facebook.com/TheHorrorDeconstruction. But please Google The HorrorDeconstruction everywhere you go. With your host, Komp and
Well-filtered water.
today we're talking about
Game of Thrones. Are we talking about as a whole, or just the finale, or the show, or what? It's good. It sounds just like it.
Thank you. That's the great Raymond Djawadi. He's a very good musician, actually. He did
Does he do all the score, or just the
I think
theme
he
song?
did all the music. I'm not sure. I'm sure he got some good coin for it, for sure. If he came up with the Game of Thrones theme, I mean, it's pretty hard to come up with a good theme. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love the opening to that show, too.
The last two songs that I really think made any impact music-wise besides the Game of Thrones was the Harry Potter theme, right? And also, I completely forgot the other song, even though there was the point of me making it.
Asshole.
Anyway, so Game of Thrones, this is a series that's been going on for 10 years?
It is not horror.
It's eight seasons. I'm sorry, 8 seasons? Am I crazy?
Yeah, but they skipped a year, like the last season.
Okay, yeah, I keep mixing up the 6, so it's been eight seasons, 6 episodes for the final season, and we've been from the very beginning of the show. Obviously, this is spoilers, but you're listening to it because you want to hear two people
and book
talk
spoilers
about
too, possibly.
Yes,
I don't know
I'm
what
sure.
we're gonna say
because the books. I mean, the show completely went with the books. So I mean, if you're talking.
Oh yeah, there's no deviations at all.
So who's the guy that created the Game of Thrones series?
George R.R. Martin, as in not the guy that did the Beatles.
Yes, the R.R. is obviously in what is it?
Relaxed and
really slow. He did that in homage to J.R.R. Tolkien, and he says that, and he goes, well, I think that writing these books, and he does that, and he's like, that's his funny voice.
He definitely was inspired by that.
He also used to work on television. He did He wrote the show Beauty and the Beast with the original, what's his name, Hellboy, Ron Perlman, and that's when women really wanted to fuck Ron Perlman, when he looked like a monster, and then when he took his makeup off.
He's really not a good-looking man.
Hey, that's not nice.
I love him, but
it's offensive. And also, I think he writes a lot. He doesn't write Game of Thrones a lot, but he writes a lot.
Yeah, no, he doesn't write Game of Thrones a lot.
Because there were reports where some guy was like, "Oh, the Game of Thrones books are done. It's just going to come out as soon as this."
Yeah, it was who said that? It was like one
of the actors. Yeah, and I think he was one of the guys that worked for Danny, and then he gets killed by the.
This happened like a week ago.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Yeah, I didn't."
Was it Mormont? I think it might have been Mormont who said
might have
that.
been. And he's like, "Well, I didn't really finish the book. I just took it out of my area and I dusted it off because
he was.
So he really wasn't working on it.
It has been like 5 years now. We've been waiting for the newest book to come out.
Okay, and you can imagine like he was coming in the book series. Jon Snow died, so that's how far ago the book's finished.
Well, I mean, it doesn't even say he gets stabbed a bunch of times. That's how it leaves off.
One of my favorite memes of all time still is who was the real asshole guy that was like?
Oh, that little kid.
No, not the kid. No, the kid was sort of I actually understand. Why
I hated that kid.
I understood where the kid was coming from. I'm talking about the other guy, the older guy that was giving him shit. And
he
was one of the heads of the Night Watch.
He was one of the head Night Watch.
Yeah,
people.
and they it was a picture where after he died, and I guess he froze. They hung him, and his face froze in this weird, funny sort of look. And then they put under the cat.
Ollie is the kid. I hated Ollie.
They put a caption underneath it that said, "When you nutted, but she's still sucking." So it looked like he just getting a blowjob. It's very funny. It's a very funny image. I love that joke. Anyway, so
that guy's hair annoyed me. It's really bothering me.
So this is George R. R. Martin's book. The show, and like they say, another meme that says, now Westerners understand when you're watching an anime and it passes the manga. So it's basically when the TV show has succeeded the television, and the TV show has succeeded the novels or any source material, and you're sort of seeing spoilers for the books, because I'm sure there's somebody out there who's...
There's definitely... Well, this is what I think. I think they're going to follow Keith.
Oh, yeah.
It's Alistair Thorne. I mean, they're definitely... I knew that John was not dead before it was in the show, because it's like you can't... I knew that was... I don't know. I just didn't believe that he was dead. but like, there's no way in the books he's not coming back. Like, that's all gonna happen. I'm sure he'll still be like a Targaryen and blah blah blah, but like, it's gonna happen in a completely different way. There's like a million more characters in
so
the
the
books.
creators of the show are David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. And these two guys went up to George R. R. Martin and said, "Hey, buddy," he said, "Okay, give me some money on it." And so they wrote this series. They actually, like, they're primary showrunners for the show, and they actually went up to George R. R. Martin. They were like, "Listen, give us the key plot points of what happens in these series."
Yeah.
And they're getting shit for, I assume, most of it is what
I don't believe that he's going to write the books the way that the show went.
You think it's going to go differently? You think it's going to end in a completely different way? Let's do the
Maybe
basics.
not end in a completely different way, but get there in a better way.
Let's do the basic setup. The book is called A Song of Ice and Fire, right? And it's about all these different factions in the Seven Kingdoms. There is the Lannister family. They kind of fuck over Robert Baratheon, who started a war because...
Starks. Right,
hold on. So Robert Baratheon started a war basically because he was jealous. He thought that this guy who was a Targaryen, who was the son of the Mad King, who they took over, right? Like, he ended up...
He thought that he kidnapped and raped his love.
Who's that, Aegar Targaryen?
It was. He thought that he kidnapped Lyanna Stark, which started a whole war.
So it started this whole war. Anyway, so Robert Baratheon ended up taking over King's Landing, and I'm surprised at how much I actually kept of all this information. I'm like kind of off the top of my head. Yeah. And Robert Baratheon was this big, like, brawling, fun guy, and he was married to Cersei Lannister, and she's a fucking witch, and she's fucking her brother. And that's Jaime Lannister, who's like totally unlikable in the first season.
That's pretty cool if you you're born into this world with your fuckmate.
Oh, just your sister, just looking like that.
Like, you don't even have to you don't have to look. You don't have to try.
They're at least very good-looking twins. You know what I mean? Notice because they're both of them so good-looking, and then they're like, God, everybody else in this King's Landing is ugly as fuck. So they were like, let's just fuck each other. So there you go. And then
it's very convenient.
So Cersei Lannister is played by, what's her name?
Lena. I don't know.
Lena Headey, and she made.
I almost said Lena Dunham. I'm so sorry.
Oh boy. Anyway, so
can you imagine how the show would be? Oh my god!
You know what's funny? I saw this is the only just sideways story I'm ever going to see.
I talking about molesting her brother.
I saw 5 seconds of Girls. I just went to go watch the last episode. And her main character is such a fucking, like, annoying witch. But the thing is, it's funny because I guess she's sort of like, I guess they would say she's sort of a female version of Woody Allen. But the difference is the character.
I don't like Woody Allen.
Right, so Woody Allen, I mean, you're a fan of what he's did outside of the movies.
No,
but Woody
I don't
Allen,
like him.
Woody Allen is like sort of nebby. She's like, oh my god,
I see.
You know what I mean? Yes. He's like that kind of character. Not in movie world, Woody Allen. But she's like a total, like, neurotic witch. But the thing is it different because it's a woman being that way and not a man? So it makes you think of that.
I guess I don't like her based on, like,
her character is a colossal
statements.
Her character in that show, from the 10 minutes I saw, is such a colossal asshole. I was like, who could watch this shit for, like, how many seasons Girls was on? But anyway,
I guess it's like a new take on sex.
But you know what? Women obviously should have the right to write their own characters, and I'd never seen a character like that as a woman as a main character. So good for them.
Yeah.
Anyway, she also fingered her sister. So when she was a kid, remember? But she escaped the Me Too stuff. So
which brings us back to
Lena Headey, who is
to this Lannister's incest.
Yeah, so Lena Headey is an excellent actor. She made $1 million an episode, and what did she do each episode? She was sitting out a window looking outside, and
being an asshole.
Another funny story is that
I hate her character. Apparently, she gets like a lot of shit in real life for it.
I was reading it because people are idiots. Just like the reaction to the show, they're fucking morons because they can't
separate reality
TV from reality, right? And
I would love her. I would fucking love her, but I would tell her, like, I hate your character, but you're awesome.
But I would be like, that's a great job. You did a great job. Because remember when we saw that great movie, Laid to Rest with Chrome Skull, and she was in the first movie?
I don't remember her in there.
That's probably a good thing. Anyway, she's great in this movie. She's also excellent in Dredd. If you've ever seen Dredd, it's a great movie.
I
love
her.
She's a bad guy in that one. Got a great scene in there. So she's the main. She was sort of she was like the main bad, not main. She became main bad guy probably 3rd, 4th season.
And she's kind of always the main bad guy. I guess it started with Joffrey.
And there was a lady named Maggie the Frog who told her, you're gonna fucking get killed by one of your brothers. All your children are gonna die, and that's what happens in the show itself. There's just a lot of.
And
backstory.
you know what? They didn't even do that in the show. This show, look, up until last episode, I was more or less satisfied with the show, even though it differentiates from the books a lot. And everybody's complaining about the season. There's a petition of 500,000 people to rewrite the whole season.
Are morons. I'm like,
but you know what? I did not like the finale.
Really,
I didn't like it. I'm not gonna be like all these people. I'm sure there's all kinds of stupid fucking. Well, maybe my complaints are stupid too. I just felt like it was really anticlimactic, and they could have done so much more.
The funniest thing that I saw was that there's a super producer named Megan Ellison. She's she's extremely rich. She and her brother have been producing very big Hollywood films, and she's got a lot of reach basically. And one of her tweets was about Game of Thrones, and because she's I guess she's a woman, and there was she got upset at David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. She goes, these guys are misogynists and they don't know how to write women. She wrote, here you go.
Oh, why? Because of the Sansa thing?
No, not Sansa, because Dany turned in the film. So she wrote...
Yeah, people are fucking stupid. It hints at her being crazy 80 times.
So it says, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss just ruined 30 years of George R. R. Martin's work in 90 minutes. They are obviously sexist fucks and obviously nothing without George R. R. Martin. Who do you think gave them the storyline for Dany probably turning evil? You think D.B. Weiss were let's make her evil? And that's an Irish accent. I really don't know what
I don't even take it as evil. I take it as crazy.
Right, but I don't even think she's
doing the right thing.
And it's funny, I was watching, I forget this girl's reviews. She's great. This woman who's... For some reason, I also watch people's reviews on YouTube if they're funny. I don't really give a shit about people's opinions other than mine.
Yeah, and mine also. I'm the best.
Who are you again?
I'm the best.
So this lady, she actually brought up some pretty good points. This girl, what is her name? Her name is... I'm going to get it for you right now. She's this young...
Sounds like you're telling me from a different planet.
I'm sorry. It's funny because they can hear my voice, you just can't, and I refer to them. So this girl named Pay or Wait is a reviewer on YouTube, and she's a young African American woman, and she basically brought us some pretty good some shit about Tyrion. She's Tyrion in these last two episodes. She was Tyrion sold out Viserys.
No, Varys.
Viserys is I'm thinking of Viserion. Yeah. He sold out Varys for being a fucking traitor, and then he went and he traded his own sister to fucking get his brother out when she specifically said not to. So he is a shithead. And then also, but you understand why he does.
And also he was wrong, and Varys was right.
And then
also Varys pulled a Ned Stark.
And then also she said, why did in one take Tyrion was oh, I gotta find a safe way for my sister to get out, Meanwhile, he's giving Dany shit for stuff that this woman has been doing for the longest time, even longer. Do you know what I mean? Cersei has been doing bad shit.
She scaled it up quite a bit, though.
That's fine. That's because she had a dragon, I guess.
Killing a couple of slavers.
So other characters in the beginning of the series obviously were Ned Stark and his whole family.
Varys pulled a Ned Stark by admitting what he was going to do.
This show proves to you, don't be a good person. Just be stupid and get the fuck out and lie, and then you'll survive. That's basically what it is, because Ned Stark was a character, I think it was 10 episodes the first season. He died in the 9th or 8th episode, and it was really shocking to people.
He died in the 10th.
Did he die in the final episode?
I think that was the finale.
Okay, well, that was a huge thing because essentially Sean Bean is pretty much he's a marquee name. He's probably a B-list actor, but people know him because obviously
I love him.
He's great. No, he's also in Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. He died in that too. He was
he dies in everything.
Boromir. He dies in a lot of movies. Although the only movie I saw, I guess it's not a spoiler. It is a spoiler. He didn't die. It's a movie called Clean Skin where he's fighting terrorists. It's actually a really good movie, a British terrorist movie.
There's a deleted scene where he dies.
You watch the film and then it says type in this code on a website and see something great, and you see his character's head explode. But yeah, so that there's Daenerys Storm. Is it Stormborn?
Daenerys Targaryen.
Excuse me. She's a Stormborn. Whatever the fuck they call her. She and her brother.
Yeah, she got like 80 titles.
She had a brother. I forgot what his name is, and he looked like the singer from Mindless Self-Indulgence.
You said before, Viserys.
He was Viserys, and that led her into meeting the Dothraki leader, Aquaman.
Khal
Drogo. She gets raped in the butt, and it was very.
In the book, she
frightening.
doesn't get raped.
See that? Because she was like the girl in the book. The kids are actually probably the actual age of how any of this shit happened way back when.
They're like 14.
Right. So
15.
George R. R. Martin's like, let me write another 12-year-old girl in your scene. Ooh, and then he's like eating a big drumstick.
And the showrunners are like, we can. I'm sorry.
Yes, like sorry.
The laws of conduct.
Got it. Can we just make more Arya-ish, please? So then there's also, speaking of the Starks, there's Arya Stark, Sansa Stark, Bran
like
Stark.
9, I think, in the beginning.
I really held a grudge against Jaime Lannister for pushing Bran Stark out of a fucking window. So basically,
yeah, but that's the thing that's about his character. Is like he's such an asshole, and
Bran Stark is just like Captain America. To sort of spoiler Avengers Endgame, is like Captain America. We all won't say what he does, but Captain America does nothing.
Well, we've already ruined it.
No, but this is maybe people still Avengers who haven't seen Avengers.
And
okay. Captain America, there's a storyline where Captain America basically does nothing and lets time pass so he could fuck somebody. I guess that is a huge spoiler, but it's like Bran does that too because he knew what was going to happen. He becomes a three-eyed raven sometime in the season. He becomes like a mystical wizard or something that doesn't really do any wizardry besides warging into creatures.
He just knows things.
And I remember there was a big deal, like there were threads about, he's going to... Well, eventually we'll get into the final...
Couldn't he have gone into the dragon?
That's what that's what a lot of people were thinking, that he was going to warg. And I assume that's what the...
See, what would have been... Oh, I could have thought of so many... The way
I think that's what they were implying at the end when he's like, "I'll find them," and then he just kind of.
And he went into the dragon. Why didn't he do that during the battle?
Because he knows all of it would lead to him being a king.
Yeah, I guess.
He's a dickhead. He's an asshole.
He could have done it. He's watching.
And somebody had made up a great point. You know when Jaime got killed by Urine Greyjoy, that fucking cartoonish.
Well, he got killed by bricks.
They made Urine. Yeah. That's too no. Maybe the bricks had Urine's ghost in them, and he was knocking them out from the scene like a Donkey Kong or something.
And you see him laughing in hell.
That's what George R. R. Martin was like. You've got to put that scene in there. Like I wrote it specifically like that in the book. And you see Euron's ghost like knocking bricks from the ceiling onto their heads. I was like surprised that they actually showed their bodies, or I thought for one second, I thought they were actually going to come out of the rubble. Like, that would have been funny. And then you just see the dragon eat Cersei. Because people were pissed at how they died. Anyway, so there's Arya Stark, there's Sansa Stark, Bran Stark. Who else are
they could have done? They could have done the same exact death scene, except Jaime could have died sooner. Like, he could have gotten hit. They could have had bricks hit them, and then you could see Jaime dies, and Cersei's trapped for like 30 seconds, and you just see her, like, she doesn't die on screen, so you see her, like, her last moments are, like, terrified.
What were your favorite characters that didn't make it to the final season? So, I mean...
to the final season?
Was there anybody that you liked that you were like, they got fucking killed, like, before the final season? Did you like Littlefinger at all?
I did like Littlefinger, but he's such a prick, and I was happy when he died.
Yeah, he looked like he walked out of Brooklyn into the movie set, right? Like he was
such a scumbag.
He's a scumbag. He really was.
I was very happy when he died. I mean, everybody that died, the way they died.
I gotta say, probably my favorite two characters are probably Arya Stark and Varys. I think those are probably my two favorite characters. Yeah, the bald guy, right?
Yeah, no, I know. It's interesting that I've never heard anyone say that.
I just like his character. I like that he was, he was this...
I always feel like Tyrion and Arya, I guess that's very typical, though.
Yeah, I like Tyrion, too, but in this final season, he started pissing me off because he was just making these stupid fucking choices. Anyway, there was like also...
He's such a little devil, I love it. He's so much, like, more fun in the books. No, Tyrion.
Oh, Tyrion. Okay, yeah. Tyrion seems like, they probably, like, took a lot of his character out of the show to make him, a gravitas.
No, I mean, he's great. I think they do a pretty good job.
I mean, in the book, his face is really fucked up, right? Like, he has no nose in the book.
Oh, yeah, he has half a nose. He has he's
I'm sure
mismatched colored eyes.
Listen, in about 20 years, when they remake this into 3 movies, because that they're going to do that, they'll do some. They'll have to find a new little person actor to do it, and maybe they'll be closer.
They do that.
That's how they're gonna sell it. They're like, we're gonna be closer to the books with these films, not this bullshit TV show. Meanwhile, they'll excise.
They can't do it in 3.
They'll have Lady Stoneheart as the villain in the second book, who's actually Caitlin Stark, and she got killed in the show. They never brought her back, and there was all these
She's
theories.
like a zombie, basically.
And they said that the Night King's not even in the book, right? Like the Night King's like a completely different thing in the book itself.
Well, they never. I don't think we've actually seen him in the books. We've seen White Walkers.
They brought up. They bring the show, and like George R. R. Martin's watching. He goes, "Why? Who's this frozen guy? What the fuck is this?" Like he's watching it, like with a big bag of like potato chips. He goes, "Oh me, oh my!"
He has potato chips inside his beret. He's eating them like he's using it as a bowl.
He just lifts up his beret and chips fall out like a fucking like a game at a fucking casino.
This guy needs to fucking finish the books.
He's in completely good health.
What the fuck is wrong with him?
Don't worry, he'll make it.
He looks really healthy. He's a great, healthy young age.
There's a great photo of like where it's just like out of context, but it's like a photo of him. I think there was like he was on set for one of the Game of Thrones thing, and it's all these like Caribbean women, and he's just there, and it's like this big fat white guy, and there's all these like really beautiful looking black women around him, and he looks like a white guy who walk into like a Caribbean club to try to hook up with some like hot ladies and shit. It's like it's the funniest fucking photo you'll ever see. But anyway, so let's just jump into this final season.
I think the final season needed to be like 2 episodes longer.
What was your problem? You needed to be more.
It was, first of all, last season 2, just very rushed. Like,
okay.
I mean, they're doing all this crazy budget shit, but it's like
I heard a thing that made
have more talking.
I heard a main thing that like made sense with Weiss and Benioff, that they were like they're doing basically the biggest. It's one of the biggest shows of all time. It's the most pirated show on television.
Yeah.
That they probably like fuck this, let's get out of here, let's finish this before we drag it on too long, because they're probably like, we've got the golden touch, let's just finish this story, we know how it ends, and let's just fuck it.
But I mean, they could have added talking scenes.
I agree that it's weird because Game of
shit.
Thrones started out essentially like a premium sort of adventure action series mixed with BBC sensibilities. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you ever watch a BBC television show, and now it felt like this whole series, I had no problem. I don't really have a problem with this final season myself. It did feel rushed. I agree with that. But it felt like it was, action, and then the final episode was like a BBC episode, because it felt like, and then people are like surprised about it. It felt like, I mean, the way it ended, I was like, this is like how a book would end. The way that, it
was just like
I don't know why I want to fucking call
it was like too like nicely summed up, and I don't know.
I have no idea why I keep thinking of saying John's name is Nick. Like, what the fuck is Nick coming from?
I don't know. Maybe that's his real name in real life. I don't know.
His
But I feel like, first of all, okay, put it this way: the whole plot line of him being a Targaryen means nothing because he didn't take the throne. Nothing happened with the dragon, and then he got banished.
I thought
no one knows about it.
And it's so funny because like when he kills Daenerys, like I would have like kicked the he's such a fucking nerd. He went down to Grey Worm and he was like, I killed the princess, and I was like, how did he not get his fucking head chopped off right there? Like, how did it flash forward and he was still alive? Like, I have no idea how that happened, because I was gonna say Worm Tongue. I don't
even remember him telling.
He doesn't. It just cuts, and it's like the time
dragon
passes, and I'm like,
when it showed the dragon take the body, I was like, is Drogon like being really smart right now and protecting Jon by hiding the evidence?
That's what I thought was gonna. I thought he was gonna fly the fucking dragon and then become the leader for a second there.
Yeah, what would be awesome, because he could control the dragon. Like, the dragon didn't kill him.
He should have done that. He should have gone on top of the dragon. Then he fly
and ruled the north.
No, and then he fly like you see him fly into the air, and he goes. He puts his fist up and he goes, yeah, and it freezes, and you hear like metal music, and that's how the show should have ended.
Like hair metal. Though.
Yeah, exactly. You hear and you hear like metal and shit. But people, okay, so we'll.
No, he should have gotten control of the dragon, and he should have fucking
nuked all that army, right?
I would have thought my instinct would have been to kill the whole army, but I mean, he's not going to do that because it's not his character.
Imagine he burned all of her army, and then you see Grey Worm, and he goes, like, he's all full of dust. He goes, "Oh man, I'm sullied now," and then like you hear like, all right. So people had a real problem with this final season, and to me,
it was so like.
Here's the thing, to me, like from side that I saw, it's a lot of people that were pissed off because it's a female character that turned evil. I've never seen a movie with a bad female character, so this is like shocking to me, I guess. No, I'm kidding. And it was, to me, it was like the opposite of those fucking nerds. You know, those men rights activists.
All the complaints that people had.
Hold on,
was,
to me,
like,
to me, to me, this felt like there were some genuine arguments about, you know, it was rushed and, you know, there was no fucking story to this. Although I thought there was plenty a fine story and it wrapped everything up. But to me, this was like the outrage was sort of like, you know how The Last Jedi had a whole bunch of men pissed off, like they were like, what are these women with pink hair? It felt like this was the female version. Because they were so pissed off that a female character turned bad, which is a thing that George R. R. Martin has been saying since the beginning of the fucking books.
But the thing is, okay, they're saying that, they're like, oh, Sansa was talking about her rape and the Hound was asking about it so unsensitively. Like, it's like, well, the Hound is a piece fucking of shit. Asshole who kills children.
Maybe kill children.
Like, are you crazy? Like, was he going to be
sensitive? No, I remember the arguments being, oh no, why did Sansa use rape to strengthen her? Like, that made her define their character.
Like, so basically what you're saying is you can't grow stronger from a trauma? Like, people do that all the time.
Yeah, it was so funny because I remember they were like...
But there's so many characters that aren't... There's so many female characters on here that are so strong that weren't raped. Like Brienne, Arya. They're like two main characters. Cersei, I mean, well, I guess she has been raped at this point, but like... And she's a horrible person, but she's strong, and it was before being raped, like, you know?
Yeah, but, like, Cersei, I guess, to them is, like, a mustache-twirling, like, I guess, quote-unquote bitch. So they're like, oh, she's... But, yeah, they conveniently forget everybody else because they want Daenerys to be the pro, like, you know, to be the good guy. Well, to me, either way, it would have been fine if she ended up being a good guy, but to me... Like, I guess it fills a narrative.
No, I'm happy the way it went.
Right, no, I'm fine with that.
They've hinted at her being crazy so many times.
To me, it fills a narrative purpose, and, you know, people think, like, she turned on a dime. Like, I sort of understand turning on a dime, but also, she lost all her friends. Her closest people... She lost
all her friends, her dragons.
Her closest people have been, like, basically, you know, going against her all this fucking time. So I could understand, you know, be ruling by fear. I get what she was doing. I understand it. Like, I wouldn't fucking justify burning children and shit like that. And, you know, people were like, when all you people were pissed off about people in King's Landing, they showed, like, images of when they were trotting around Cersei in the streets naked with shit on her. You know what I mean? So it's like, all these people were scumbags anyway.
Well, Cersei deserved it, to be fair.
She was a piece of shit. And she blew up those church people. That's the thing. When you find a bad guy, you got to find an even bigger threat to make them look sympathetic. So they made the church like the bad guys, the High Sparrow.
That's the thing that's cool about the show and the books is that, like, especially the books, actually, because they, like, get inside their heads a lot more. But, like, there is no...
And there's a long extended
There are bad guys. Like, Cersei is genuinely a horrible person, but it explains why she's a horrible person.
And in the book,
really
there's a long extended scene of Daenerys shitting her pants. I heard that.
Yeah, that's a great scene. And the dragons are, like, so tiny, and they're just lapping it up.
Oh, really? I didn't see that part. That's gross. George R. R. Martin's a real weird guy. So, I mean, like... and the thing is, with my reception of the series, like, the final season, I thought the war against the Night's King, I fucking thought that was great. I thought it was awesome. A lot of people
I just wish it didn't end so.
To me, that was essentially like a serious version of Evil Dead 3. Like, they just got rid of like it was a war in Evil Dead, and I liked that. I liked the part when Arya came down and fucked up the Night King, and everyone was like, "It should have been Jon that did it." Shut the fuck up. Arya's like although Arya seems to have lost those magic powers in the final.
Like, you know, all the men's like the girl, all the men. Stupid people were oh, she's a Mary Sue or whatever. It's like, no, she's been training since she was born.
That was people's argument. They're like, oh, she gets trained in three episodes by. And I'm like, no, the whole fucking
thing.
She's
been training since she was born. The first episode has her shoot a bow and arrow on target as Bran can't even fire it.
Yeah, like when she ran away from the faceless man. Remember when that faceless girl was stabbing her and almost killed her ass? Like, I mean, there's a whole bunch. People are stupid. Guys are fucking dumb.
No, but even like when she was just living in the people, Winterfell,
men,
she was like
because we might have taken the thing like, oh, women are stupid. No, we're not saying all women. Not all women, Danny. But men and women are equally fucking stupid with their arguments. Like I agree. You have some actual concrete basis of why a lot of this shit probably didn't work for you. It was fine for me, but there are a lot of the reasons that are being very vocal that we're reading is very stupid. They're quite stupid. And the thing is with a reaction to a show like, and it's hard to compare because like, Breaking Bad. Let's say that was, I forgot how many seasons that was. I saw
It
that,
was
and
5.
I remember watching that series and up to the finale, and I remember feeling, I think it was the second to last episode. I was I would watch the show and I was becoming physically ill because it was so nerve wracking, and I've
Yeah,
never
yeah,
been
yeah.
like that with a show. I think it was the episode Ozymandias, where they were all in the desert and the Nazis.
Oh God,
That,
yeah.
that
And
made
they
me like
buried his
ill,
money and
and
everything.
I never felt that. I mean, I sort of felt that with this season, but not as like I wasn't as affected for some reason.
Well,
I don't know why.
not the finale, but the episode before that where she goes crazy. I really was like literally edge of my seat, like, oh shit,
Yeah,
oh
and it was so
fuck,
strange.
like the whole time.
I was surprised
and,
a lot
like,
more characters didn't die that I think would die. Like
They
Masande,
killed
I was
like
like,
10
oh shit.
They killed like 10 characters in that.
Yeah, and
episode.
Masande, like when they killed her, I felt bad. But like Masande, like you knew she was dead as soon as she was being positive. I thought it'd been Grey Worm, and
She's like not even. That's like one of the things about the show that I get it though. It's a show. They have
she
to
didn't
show,
have
like,
jack shit to do in this season. That was it. And
They show like love. They have to make up all these love stories and shit. But like
I would have liked them to like.
that's not gonna happen.
It would have been
in
nice
the book.
if
She's
they-
like 12 or something.
It would have been nice if Masande and Grey Worm, got away at the end, and they had a spin-off called Face Sitting Adventures, because that's basically all she did is just sit on his face all the time.
because he can't do anything, so he's got a nose
And
instead.
he's like, "Me, I'm gonna eat your butt." No, he spoke better, right? I forget.
No,
Anyway,
he spoke better than that.
and yeah, so Missandei, and also she lost a lot of weight, man. To me, she got so thin. And listen, it's not me making body judgment, but she looked completely different this season. I was trying to figure out what it was. She got so
didn't
thin.
notice.
She reminded me of the girl from Stranger Things, the sister. Like I was there's a part where she's on a bone. I was like, what the fuck? Like she looked like an African American version of the sister. I'm like, damn, this girl, what the fuck happened? To
I
her?
don't remember.
She's still very pretty, and it's sad
Can't
that she's
picture what
gone.
she looks like. I gotta rewatch the show, but like
You're
I don't
racist.
know.
You don't want to say.
They should have had like 2 more episodes. in
Yeah,
this season.
I get it. Filler, right? Like,
Not filler, like
well, and people were
content.
also like mentioning, they were like, "Oh, Tyrion never finished his story," and then I guess he brings it up again at the end. I was surprised.
Also, there was a Davos was given.
I
a
was
task.
so. Oh, that's another character that I like was Davos. Davos, I like him a lot.
Yeah, I love him.
The Onion
I'm
Knight.
surprised he made it to the end. To be honest.
Yeah, me too. I was surprised, I was expecting him to get fucking blown to.
And then what happens at the
somewhere.
end? John goes to live with the wildlings.
Yeah,
Is
I
he the
think
king
John. I think they lied to There's no way he fucking. I don't get the Unsullied would have eaten his ass right there with knives. He would have been dead. There's no way. She
Well, they
wanted him
follow
to die,
orders.
but she's dead. They could be like, we liked her. The closest thing to Grey Worm was he got freed by her. Do you know what I mean? He got freed by Daenerys Targaryen. I would have put a fucking axe through Jon's head. And I think Jon's okay, but he's just a stupid fuck, just like his
Well, but now he's
adopted
the
dad.
king of Beyond the Wall. I think.
Yeah, I think what happened is they told him, oh, he's going to be in the King Knight's Watch, even though the Knight's Watch was made to fight the Frozen guys, the fucking whites or whatever they're called.
There is no Night's
I meant
Watch
WIGHT, yeah, not white people. I meant whites, as in the whatever those are called, like dragons, frozen dragons and monsters and shit like that. And I mean, whatever, because they don't need to exist anymore unless there's more fucking creatures from beyond coming over. And
No,
he lives with
unless
I guess he
children
moves
of the
on.
forest make more.
He goes to move on with the free folk, and then he gets to pet his CGI dog, and they get to go and he hangs out with Tormund, and Tormund doesn't come back for what's her name, Brienne. He's like, oh, fuck her, you know what I mean? She took that dick, and look at her. He's probably laughing. He goes,
Yeah.
he's laughing and shit.
He should have
Brienne
gone back for it.
Brienne finishes the book with Jaime's information in it. I guess that big book for people.
Yeah, it was just too much like the ending of like Lord of the Rings.
They
or, like,
decide
Hobbit
to
or
leave.
something.
Yeah, they decide to leave Tyrion out of the history books, which is a big strike to his ego.
It was pretty funny.
Who's that guy?
Bronn?
John's friend, big dude. the guy who became a
Sam.
master of whatever they're called.
Yeah, Sam.
Sam. Yeah, I like this character. He got to bone whatever her name is, and he's a father now, and he's become basically the master of storytelling. I don't know what the fuck they do. And then Tyrion becomes a hand again, and he's all like the guy who's had the worst history in that job still gets the job again.
I mean,
and the
he's
thing is,
good at it.
I like Bronn, but I wouldn't have minded if an axe split his head in half, because it's just such shitty stuff that he does. You understand why he does it. And if
Yeah.
I was Tyrion, I would be like, hey, yeah, here's your land. And then I would have had the land collapse under his feet as he falls into hell. But I guess a Lannister always pays their debts, like he says.
Yeah.
So that's
But there are no Lannisters anymore, basically.
yeah,
It's
that's it.
just,
And there's no Mormonts, because Jorah Mormont got killed.
And the little girl got killed. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a funny video of that girl, the girl who Lady Mormon, and she's doing fucking breakdancing. So it's like funny. She's like,
oh, I would
giant.
love to see
it's
that.
Great.
Well, anyway, what you haven't read the books?
I have not. So do you want to, just before we sign off, give a little bit of information that's like.
I mean, I'm not gonna.
I did also like Stannis,
but what I will say is
too. I did like Stannis before he roasted his kid. He was good.
The books,
and he's still alive in the books. Stannis
basically have maybe twice as many characters, but like minor characters. So like what
stuff
they'll
like
do,
Sansa didn't get raped in the books. It was her friend.
Yeah, it was a different. It was a completely different character named Jane, who was her friend. They'll have like for every character, there's like 2 minor characters, and they'll like combine them all.
Right.
Into
and what was
one
his
character.
name? Alfie Allen's character, something Greyjoy. Why am I forgetting his name?
Theon.
Theon was not really Reek. That was like a completely different character, right? Like they.
No. He is. There's another Reek before. Theon
I see.
Reek.
Okay, so that's what I was confused about.
And then, well, I don't want to. There is a.
Go ahead and say it. Who gives a fuck?
Ramsay poses as Reek when he infiltrates. Like, he plays a lot of mind games. He pretends to be Reek. But to rescue Theon, he pretends like he is, a captive. Okay. And then they kind of do it in the book. I love Ramsay's character, by the way. He's like one of my favorite villains.
The rape stuff, right? That's good stuff. You like it?
But no, like, Joffrey, I fucking hated.
I
hated him, but Ramsay makes me smile. Like,
it's
for
funny.
whatever reason.
I'm not sure it was right over, but the kid that played Tormund, was it Tommen? I'm sorry, King Tommen.
Yeah.
Apparently, some video released online where him and his cousin were jerking off in front of a cam, like.
Oh no.
He's probably looking for Sir Pounce, and they also killed Sir Pounce the cat. So, damn, they killed. What was her name? The hot princess that got killed in the church explosion.
Oh,
Natalie Dormer's character. She was hot too.
Marjorie.
What a shame. She was as I think she was as sort of aspirational as Cersei and Sansa is, but Sansa.
She was like a good version. Well, Sansa's not nearly as.
No, I like Sansa's character. I actually don't like her. I mean, I didn't like her in the beginning because she was like a prat. I hope Pratt's not like a racist.
Well, that's her whole story arc. Is she's like little princess girl till like Littlefinger.
So she's now like king of the. I don't know. Why would you want to stay in an area that's fucking cold the whole time? But I guess you can't.
Hey,
with
this heat right now, I miss it.
I get it. But you usually see women wanting to take, photos on Instagram at the beach.
Well, she used to be all about getting out and going to King's Landing and all the big people, but now she appreciates where she's from because she realizes everybody else is horrible.
Bran should have done something where he brought a magical staff. And Daenerys is there, and then you see lightning come down, and you see like an electric Ned Stark come out, and he just starts slicing people with a sword, and you hear metal. God, that would have been great.
That would have been great.
And they're like, for England, James? And he goes, for me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was thinking, I had this like whole idea of like, he could watch people, he could spy on people pooping as a raven.
You watch Sansa getting laid, not laid, I'm sorry, getting assaulted sexually, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I don't know. That's fucked up. Bran's a smart guy, but he's a real scumbag too. A lot of scumbag characters. How would you have ended this series?
I mean, I can't say definitively.
You're fine with Daenerys getting killed for it. It was very odd.
I mean, definitely.
Like, I knew that was going to happen. Like, I knew as soon as he was hugging her, I was like, he's going to kill this. And then, like,
I like what they did. I like that aspect. But definitely, I'm glad that they broke the wheel and didn't have it passed down the generations. But I think Jon, as a Targaryen, should have, like, taken a fucking dragon and gone and ruled the North with it or something. Right. Something like that type of thing.
He never wanted it, so now he's going to go have sex with...
But he's going to go be a king beyond the wall.
He's going to go have sex with all these unwashed people. He probably fucks Tormund. It'll be great.
Yeah, but you know what? The cold slows down the bacteria growth.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I thought... Yeah, I guess it keeps it in stasis. I thought it keeps it alive, not like... Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we took those classes.
No. Heat makes bacteria...
Die.
Picture swamp-ass versus frozen-ass, you know?
Oh, God, and those shit bits on Tormund's butthole. Oh, my God, that's horrible.
God.
So, I mean, what else is there? What rating would you give
I would say
Game of Thrones?
As a whole, I mean, it's a great show.
Like an Italian guy would say, as a whole.
I can't, but this season was not. I do agree with a lot of the criticism of this season.
That Danny should have won and men are pigs. Okay?
No. Yes. No, I just think it was way too rushed.
Okay, what's your rating for the whole entire series?
For the whole
of Game
entire
of Thrones?
series.
It's over, Danny. It's gone. The Walking Dead still goes on. That fucking show, but this is done.
And there's going to be a million spin-offs. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10.
Well, there are spin-offs of Game of Thrones coming. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you meant the Walking Dead spin-offs. Go ahead.
No. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. Oh, God. Where do I don't even know. 8 out of 10 chopping off a man's penis and then eating a sausage in front of him and implying that it could be his penis.
All right. That's very good. I agree with the 8 out of 10. I think it was a pretty stellar series. It sort of lost a little bit of glimmer, but it was fine. Yeah, it was great. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the war episodes are excellent. I like it. And I would give it an 8 out of 10. Being a regular knight and being caught in between a war between Asian forest children, and then they turn you into a frozen asshole that wants to destroy everything because you want to, in the future, fuck up a man in a wheelchair. And with that...
That's true.
Danny, what's the final word?
Read the books, everybody.
The Horror Deconstruction.